Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal says Trinidad and Tobago is closer than ever to restarting the Pierre refinery following major discussions with India's top energy companies. I hope this means that the time frame has been significantly reduced. We cannot wait another year or so to be able to reopen the backbone of the energy industry and the backbone of our economy in general, or by extension. Fresh from India Energy Week 2026, the Energy Minister says the reopening of the refinery is moving from conversation to concrete action. Speaking during Thursday's post-cabinet media briefing, he confirmed that Indian Oil Corporation, India's largest state-owned energy enterprise, is preparing to send a technical team to this country to evaluate the refinery's condition and outline a pathway to restarting it. Now, this is one of the best news that I've heard in a long time. Let's hope that it materializes. And of course, make sure that whatever deal that you're making with India, we still have the majority holding share in the company.
Just to place in perspective that Indian Oil operates 10 refineries in India. And we're extremely pleased that they have this capacity, this breadth. And we intend to work with them to ensure that we participate in a process that would lead to the reopening and restarting of the refinery at Pierre.
He noted that the delegation is versed in operations of this nature.
We discussed with that delegation the provision of technical expertise and strategic directions. They have a wealth of experience in refinery capacity at various refineries, as I said, across Asia. The delegation indicated that there is a readily available local workforce to support the resumption of refining operations.
Dr. Munilal said the visit is expected within weeks.
We expect within a short period of a few weeks, certainly post-Carnival, we expect that we will be in a position to welcome a technical team from Indian Oil to look at the refinery and to give us some direction, some support. They were extremely pleased to return to Trinidad and Tobago since they had been here before, and they were extremely happy to know which they indicated the powerful local labor force that we have in refining and oil and gas.
Government also met with Reliance Industries, operator of the world's largest refinery complex, and Dr. Munilal says Reliance has also shown interest in the Pierre asset.
We were pleased to meet a high-powered delegation from Reliance Industries Limited. Some of you may know Reliance operates the largest single-site complex refinery in the world in Gujarat, India, where they process on a daily basis, I believe, around 1.5 million barrels per day. We were happy to meet Reliance to discuss matters pertaining to the refinery in particular and other areas of interest.
The minister also indicated that Indian Oil was not only interested in Trinidad and Tobago, but voiced their interest in the entire Caribbean region. Sunulala, TTT News.
On February 5th, 2026, the Honorable Barry Padarath, Minister of Public Utilities, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, and Acting Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, received copies of the letters of credence from His Excellency Nathaniel Aaron Cohen, Ambassador-designate of the State of Israel to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the Ministry's headquarters. For me, this is wonderful news. My response: Trinidad just received a huge blessing from above, and we're talking about from God, from heaven, and they don't know it. They don't even know it. I don't even think the government understands that. To all those who oppose this important partnership with Israel, read Romans 11, which is God's mandate given to Gentiles. We are Gentiles when it pertains to the Jews. Read Ezekiel 38, which prophesies a time which is yet to come when the kings of the north, Persia, Russia, etc., I think even Turkey, will attempt to conquer Israel, but God will intervene on behalf of his people. Read Revelations, which tells us that Israel will be in existence throughout the end time, including the 7-year tribulation period. They will also rebuild their temple, even though the entire world forbids them from doing so. In the end, people, Romans 11 tells us, in the end, all Israel will be saved. We are supposed to be there to bless and pray for their salvation. That's what we are supposed to be doing. We are the wild olive branch that was grafted into the cultivated olive tree. And Jesus is the entire tree, but the Jewish people are the roots of that tree. Jesus came forth in physical form from the Jewish people. Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs, the Honorable Philip Watts, has officially committed to the reopening of Barcelona Street Youth Development Center after a decade of neglect. And of course, that decade of neglect he's talking about is because of the PNM that neglected everything for the past 10 years, whether it's the education sector, the health sector, the tourism sector, the agricultural sector, definitely in the energy sector. It was totally destroyed under the PNM regime, the government, for the past 10 years. People, as much as I do oppose certain issues with the UNC, and people can go back and review all my older videos. I've said this over and over again. I oppose the new taxes and fees and fines and so forth. I do not agree with having Roger Alexander as the Minister of Homeland Security. I believe that he should be given a junior role in a different ministry. But I've said this over and over again. Even though I oppose those things, I still do believe that the UNC will govern this nation far better than the PNM, that the economy will revive. It will be much slower now because of how the Prime Minister decided to tax the population even more. You cannot tax a nation into prosperity. But because she's also diversifying the economy and investing back into the energy industry, Trinidad and Tobago will still move forward in prosperity, just at a slower pace. Prime Minister Kamala Persaud-Bissessar says work is underway to modernize the nation's public service as she addresses an audience of civil servants at the recognition ceremony for the appointment of the head of the Public Service Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Natasha Barrow. The Prime Minister said the information and communications technology is so outdated that it is hindering the efficiency, responsiveness, and accountability of the public service. I'm quite sure she's correct about this as well, and that is because of the neglect, once again, that took place for the past 10 years under the Rowley administration. And of course, for the past 60 years, by extension, because of the PNM, which has never really managed anything in this country since its inception back in the 1950s.
We cannot deliver 21st century services using 20th century tools. As we speak now, our Minister of Public Admin is in the UAE. He's working together with officials there to try to bring to us in Trinidad and Tobago the technology that we need to further modernize the public service. So Mr. Dominic is working on that for us, to bring in full AI, full technology.
The new head of the public service endorsed the Prime Minister's assessment and issued a rallying call to her colleagues.
We cannot continue to defer reform to another moment, another administration, or another generation. The time for change is now, and not within our children's or grandchildren's lifetime. That change requires a deliberate shift in attitudes and in how we exercise authority and in how we manage performance and in how we hold ourselves and others accountable.
Meanwhile, Minister of Labour, Small and Micro Enterprise Development, Leroy Batiste, highlighted the importance of the work of the public service.
It is the public service that effects that gives effect to government's decisions and priorities. Through the work of public officers, government policies become real services and real outcomes for the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
P.S. Barrow was officially appointed to her post by the Public Service Commission. She has been serving as the PS in the Office of the Prime Minister since November 2024. Terry Ann Brown Campbell, TTT News.
A barge will be utilized as an interim measure to transport cargo along the sea bridge while welding works are being undertaken on the Blue Wave Harmony. Chief Secretary Fali Augustine made the announcement during a THA post-executive media briefing on Thursday. He also noted that following the repairs, the Blue Wave Harmony is expected to be in full operation by Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. I believe they still should launch an investigation into why I think it's the both vessels ended up being damaged. Certain individuals trying to sabotage both the THA and the central government. Because as much as I don't like the pathway that the central government is going down, I will never support anything like that either. So I don't know. I just believe that there should be an investigation into that.
The Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago has engaged the services of a 67-meter barge for a period of 10 days. The barge will commence operation on Friday, 6th, meaning tomorrow. This barge will commence operation as part of the interim measure to ensure that the goods that are required can come to the island.
Guyana must remain prepared and ever vigilant in the face of continued uncertainty surrounding Venezuela. Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Dr. Irfan Ali, the best leader in the Caribbean right now, has said, warning that the present situation in Venezuela does not diminish the threat to Guyana's territorial integrity. President Ali yesterday morning said that history shows uncertainty demands preparedness rather than complacency. Is 100% correct, especially because of how Trump has decided to just dress back. This is something that I do not like about Trump at all. He starts a good mission, and then while on that mission, he just stops and wants to continue with diplomacy. If you want to assist in restoring democracy in Iran, in Venezuela, in Cuba, you have to finish the job. From expecting mothers, newborns, children, and adults, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony has stated that Budget 2026, Guyana's budget, of course, caters for further expansion of universal health care, dismissing the claims that the budget has nothing for the people. The minister, during Wednesday's budget debate, issued a fiery response in the National Assembly and stated that despite new faces being present on the opposition benches, the practice is the same: tired politics, divisive, backward-looking, and utterly bankrupt of ideas. And of course, that sounds a whole lot like the PNM here in Trinidad and Tobago as well. Opposing for opposing sake. Sadly though, UNC has done that in the past as well while in opposition, but they tend to be a little more, willing to make any sort of agreements with the government than the PNM. An additional 10,000 National Housing Trust contributors in Jamaica are set to receive their contribution refund for the year 2018 by Monday, February 9th. Supervisor for the Contributions, Refunds, Payments and Monitoring Unit, Camille Simmons-Thomas, said that the latest payments totaling approximately $39 million form part of a strong payout cycle over the past 5 weeks. Thus far, I'm telling you, I'm beginning to be impressed by Andrew Holness' administration in his third term. I think he has realized that he really needs to up his game because the people decided to trust in him, put him back in office. I think he's doing a pretty good job thus far. International news now. Al Jazeera claims to have obtained the framework of the agreement between the US and the Islamic Republic of Iran proposed by Turkey, Qatar, and Egypt. Iran agrees to commit to zero uranium enrichment for 3 years, after which it will agree to enrichment below 1.5%. Iran's most enriched uranium stockpile will be transferred to a third country. Iran agrees not to transfer weapons and technology to its regional proxies. Iran commits not to be the first to launch any ballistic missiles. Iran and the US agree on a non-aggression pact. The thing about it is they always make similar agreements and then they violate those agreements. We are talking about the Ayatollah regime. So will this really last, even if it is agreed upon? And besides that, what about justice for the tens of thousands of individuals that have lost their lives because they want to restore democracy in Iran? But nevertheless, as Amir Safati said recently, it is very unlikely that Iran's democracy will be restored in these end times. If it does, we will be thankful for it. Because at the end of the day, Ezekiel 38 prophecy says that Iran will also be part of that war where the kings of the north will attempt to conquer Israel. Closing off now with the interesting facts segment. The system designed to clean the world's largest trash zone. Dutch engineers have deployed a massive floating cleanup system designed to collect plastic waste from the Pacific Ocean. The project operates inside the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, where ocean currents trap debris for years. The system guides floating plastic toward a central collection point, where it is removed, sorted, and prepared for recycling. Supporters say removing large debris early helps prevent further breakdown into microplastics. I think that type of device should be used in all the oceans around the world. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.